She's a witch! Burn the witch! She's a witch! Burn her!
She's a witch. The shout tore through the night like thunder. Madame Odo stood at the edge of her hut, the firelight dancing across her wrinkled face. Her eyes were no longer human, too cold, too knowing. In her trembling hands lay the book, its pages swollen with fresh blood. "You called me a murderer," she said softly. Her voice cracked, then hardened. "Tonight, I will show you what a real one looks like." Then she wrote on the book with her blood and immediately turned into a dangerous big viper. Before we dive into the story, please do well to subscribe to Valerie Tales for more exciting stories. Years earlier, Madame Odo had knelt by the roadside, holding her husband's crushed head, her child's tiny fingers already stiff. It was an accident, her husband's brother said, avoiding her eyes. A terrible accident. She had believed him. After the burial, she overheard the whispers. "I loosened the brake. We fought over land. I wanted everything." Her mother-in-law said, "But he is your brother, what if his wife finds out?" She confronted them and threatened to tell the villagers, but they laughed and said, "Who will believe a useless widow?" They went ahead of her and told the elders she caused her family's death, and they believed. "Take her away from here." The elder's voice was cold, final. "She brings death," another spat. "Anywhere she stays, blood follows," a woman hissed. Madame Odo stood barefoot, her wrapper clutched to her chest, dust clinging to her skin. She looked from face to face, people who once ate from her pot, laughed in her house. "So this is my judgment?" she asked quietly. "To be buried alive?" No one answered. "Take her to the outskirts," the chief ordered. "Let her live where spirits roam." Her mother-in-law turned her face away. Her sister-in-law smiled. That smile burned itself into Odo's soul. The hut was barely standing, crooked walls, a roof that groaned with every wind. Night insects ruled the place. Loneliness pressed on her chest like a stone. "This is where you end," she whispered to herself. Days passed. Hunger hollowed her cheeks. Grief hardened her eyes. Then, one afternoon, as she swept the hut, her broom struck something heavy. Thud. She knelt, brushing away dust, and uncovered a massive, ancient book. Its leather cover was cracked, its pages thick and yellowed like old bones. On the front cover, barely visible, "Book of HOLYS." She scoffed. "Even God has abandoned me, now he leaves his book in rubbish." She opened it. Most pages were blank. But 2 pages near the middle made her breath hitch. Words were written there, not prayers, not stories, but commands. Sharp, absolute. The ink was dark red, as if it had once been alive. At the back cover, carved deep into the leather, were the words, "Write in blood and it comes through." Her heart began to pound. "This is madness," she laughed nervously. Still, she caught her thumb. Blood dropped onto the page. "I want food," she wrote shakily. Nothing happened. She slammed the book shut. Foolishness. Angry and ashamed, she grabbed her pot and walked to the stream. On her way back, a hunter stopped her. "Grandmother," he said warmly, smiling. "I don't know why, but my spirit says I should give you all the meat I caught today." He handed her everything. Her knees nearly gave way. That night, she stared at the book until dawn. She began carefully. "Let someone help me fix this hut." The next day, young men arrived. "The elders said we should repair it," they said, confused. Her breath shook. She wrote again. "Let people treat me kindly." Women brought her food. Children greeted her again. Tears streamed down her face. "This book is a blessing," she whispered. "This is my second life." For a while, she used it gently. For survival. For dignity. For peace. But peace does not live long where betrayal sleeps. One night, drunken voices drifted through the dark. She deserved it, her brother-in-law laughed. He wouldn't give me the land. So I loosened the brake. Simple. Madame Odo froze. Her blood turned cold. So, it was you. Her hands trembled as she opened the book. She did not cry. She wrote. That night, the air thickened. Her bones cracked. Her skin burned. She screamed as her body twisted, stretched, reshaped. Scales burst through flesh. Fangs slid into place. Where a woman once stood, a massive viper rose, thick as a tree trunk, eyes glowing red. She slithered toward the family compound. Her sister-in-law saw her first. Snake, she screamed. The viper struck. One bite. One scream. Silence. Her mother-in-law ran, crying. Odo. Forgive me. The viper wrapped around her neck. You called me a murderer, Odo hissed through fangs. Now meet one. Crack. The old woman dropped lifeless. She moved through the compound like judgment itself, biting, crushing, killing. Men. Women. Children. Blood soaked the ground. Only her brother-in-law remained. He fell to his knees, shaking. I did it, he screamed. I killed them. I killed my brother. Please. Please. The viper paused. His tears were real. She hissed low. Life, she said. And suffer. By morning, the village was screaming. They found Madame Odo in her hut, human again, weak but alive. Her brother-in-law confessed publicly. I killed them, he sobbed. I wanted the land. The elders chased him out in disgrace. Madame Odo was brought back to the village. People bowed. People feared. But fear fed something dark inside her. That night, she opened the book again. Let him fall and die on the road. Before sunset the next day, he collapsed and died. She smiled. Madame Odo should have stopped. The village had given her back her name. The elders had returned her hut to the center of the land. Her brother-in-law had been chased away in shame, his crime confessed with his own mouth. People greeted her carefully now. Good morning, Mama Odo. May you live long. They lowered their eyes when she passed. Fear followed her like a shadow, and she liked it. At night, she would sit alone, the book of HOLYS open on her lap, her thumb already cut before the thought even formed. Power no longer frightened her. Power excited her. It began small. A woman whispered behind her back at the stream. Who knows what else she has done? That night, Madame Odo wrote only one line. Let her tongue taste death. She turned. Bones snapped. Skin split. Scales bloomed. The viper slid silently into the woman's compound. Who's there? The woman whispered, clutching her wrapper. The snake raised its head slowly, letting itself be seen. The woman screamed. Madame Odo struck once. By morning, the woman's mouth was swollen, black with venom. The villagers whispered. It was a snake. No, it was her. Madame Odo smiled into her soup. Then came a man who refused her greeting in the market. Old witch, he muttered under his breath. That night, she did not write long sentences anymore. The book already knew her heart. She became the viper before the moon climbed high. The man woke to hissing inches from his face. Odo, he cried. She did not answer. She wanted him to see her eyes. To understand. She watched him beg before she beat him. Soon, death became routine. A child insulted her mother and pointed at Odo. A drunk man laughed at her limp. A trader cheated her. Every offense had a price. And she never killed the same way twice. Sometimes she struck fast. Sometimes she rapped slowly, crushing bones while they screamed. She loved the moment when hope died in their eyes. The village stopped laughing, stopped arguing, stopped living at night. Doors were locked early. Prayers were whispered. She has become death itself, an elder said. But no one dared confront her. Then came the queen. The entire village gathered. Drums sounded. Dust rose. Women ululated. Madame Odo stood proudly among them, chin lifted. She stepped forward as the queen passed. "My queen," she said loudly. The queen did not look at her. She walked past. Just like that. The crowd gasped. Madame Odo's face stiffened. "Did she just ignore me?" she whispered. The words burned. That night, rage shook her hands. "So even queens think I am nothing." She opened the book. Blood dripped freely now. "Let her fear me as they all do." The palace guards heard the scream first. A snake. A giant snake. The viper rose at the palace gate, larger than ever, scales thick as armor, eyes blazing. The queen stepped back, frozen. "Guards!" she screamed. Madame Odo lifted her head high, letting the queen see her fully. "Look at me," she hissed. "You will not ignore me again." The guards did not hesitate. Through the spears. Steel flew through the air. The viper right, struck wildly, but this time, pain overwhelmed power. One spear pierced its head. The body convulsed, then stilled. Before their eyes, the snake changed. Scales melted into skin. Fangs withdrew. The body shrunk. Madame Oda lay naked in the dust, eyes wide, mouth frozen in shock. The guard stepped back in horror. "It's her. It was always her." The queen spoke, her voice shaking with fury. "Take her away. Do not bury her among humans." They dragged her body past the village. No one cried. No one followed. They threw her into the evil forest, where forbidden things were said to walk. The book of HOLYS burned in the fire behind her. But some swear that on quiet nights, when blood falls to the ground, a page still turns. Moral lessons. 1. Unhealed pain can turn victims into monsters. Madame Odo began as a wrong woman, betrayed, accused, and abandoned. But instead of stopping after justice was served, she allowed bitterness and vengeance to rule her heart. Her story teaches that when pain is nursed instead of healed, it can corrupt the soul so deeply that the victim becomes more dangerous than the original offender. 2. Power without restraint always destroys its owner. The Book of HOLYS gave Madame Odo power, but not wisdom. Each time she used it for fear and revenge, she lost a piece of her humanity. In the end, the same power that made her feared also exposed and destroyed her. The lesson is clear: authority, influence, or supernatural power without self-control and mercy will eventually lead to self-destruction.